because if they're unstable in the foot or the ankle joint, it's probably going to lead to some knee and hip problems later on, and it's probably going to affect their overall speed. So something that everybody probably wants to take a look at when they're looking at their kids' shoes. It's a good thing that here on video that smell cannot be transmitted, because children do not have the cleanliest of the best hygiene. Half the time they don't wear socks with their shoes. But looking at these are my 13-year-old, his basketball shoes. What we really want to look at when you're looking at the wear patterns on your kid's shoe is, if you're looking at the top, depending on what sport they're playing, running. I've got some court shoes and I've got some running shoes here from my two kids. Is you just kind of want to make sure that one side's not worn more than the other. For Harry's shoe here, you can see for a court shoe, a lot of wear on the ball of the foot, which is where you want it. I mean, this is obviously where he's landing, where he's pushing off from. It's pretty uniform across or on the bottom of the shoe, and again on the heel, because that's where he's going to be landing right there. So when we check shoes like right side and left side, make sure that they're kind of being worn in the same areas. And Harry's left shoe, it looks like his heel is definitely wearing out a little bit more. Now I would say, being a right-hander, he's probably jumping off of his left foot a little bit more, because he'll only shoot layups with his right hand, so he's probably jumping off of his left foot, which is kind of what we want. But there's not any particularly bad wear pattern on his shoes right there. A bad wear pattern would be if the inside of the shoe is breaking down more, or if he's kind of ripping out the inside. If kids are falling towards the medial side of the foot or the inside, probably might be some ankle instability right there. So we definitely want to keep our eye on that, because we might have to help strengthen their ankles, do some ankle exercises, some exercise bands, something like that. Always, if they're in sports, always ask a coach or their trainer, or obviously ask your chiropractor if you have one, and then definitely have them checked out in terms of whether or not they need any kind of stability or ankle support or something like that. For Alex, he's my lighter child. He's a different build. He's a little bit slighter. Kind of looking similarly, wear pattern, right and left side. They have a tendency to wear their court shoes for just about everything. So they're going to probably tear most things apart. Obviously, these basketball shoes, he's worn them a lot. He's tearing them apart here on the top of the shoe, which is great, because that's obviously where he's flexing when he's pushing off. Most of the wear pattern is on the forefront of the shoe, kind of by the big toe, so that's where he's jumping. Actually, I'm impressed, because half the time, when they're younger and they're tripping over their own feet, you don't know if they can even walk correctly. But for the most part, it looks like my kids are running properly, probably because their mother's a better athlete than I am. So that's kind of what you want to look at when it comes to shoe wear. The other thing to keep in mind is always making sure that the kids have enough room in their shoes, that the shoes aren't too tight. It's not usually too much of a problem, because the feet grow. They usually wear them out, even if they're growing at a high rate. Kids go through shoes, probably every 3 to 6 months, especially court shoes, running shoes, things like that. So they'll beat them up generally before they outgrow them, even though their feet grow pretty quick. But certainly soccer shoes or anything that is, you know, seasonal, unless they're playing year round, they'll probably need a new pair of shoes at the beginning of every season. And footwear is important because ankle stability, foot mechanics, really important, can affect the overall performance for the kids, which again can be a big thing when it comes to confidence or anything like that. It can start with footwear. So always something to keep in mind.